Hello and welcome to Hibs TV and our final build-up show of the 2022-23 Cinch Premiership season. And it's a big one we have in store today as champions Celtic, hopefully with one eye on their upcoming Scottish Cup final, come to Leith to face a Hibs side, knowing that despite Sunday's defeat to Rangers, European football next season is still achievable with 2 games remaining. It's Hibs versus Celtic, kick-off this evening at 7:45 p.m. as it is for all the fixtures on what is a full midweek Premiership fixture card. And with 3rd place Aberdeen hosting 6th place St Mirren and 4th place Hearts facing a tough looking trip to Ibrox, it could be a pivotal night in the race for European football next season. And that is because the league table looks like this. Aberdeen know a win at home to St Mirren would assure Barry Robson's side a 3rd place finish, and a point or better for Hibs coupled with a Hearts defeat at Ibrox would set up a blockbuster Derby Day showdown at Tynecastle on Saturday. A win for St Mirren against the Dons tonight, though, would make things even more complicated, with at least one side set to miss out on European football next year. And that is all, of course, dependent on Celtic beating Inverness in the Scottish Cup final at Hampden on the 3rd of June. Just about got that. That was probably one of the hardest intros I've had to do all season, but I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Joelle. Joelle, that was difficult.
Yeah, rather you than me there, Adam. Absolutely.
Just from that long list of permutations of things that could happen this year, tonight's game is a pivotal one, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. It's absolutely massive, and I'm a firm believer of controlling the controllables, and that's certainly all we can do here tonight and of course on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. And we face a Celtic side, obviously, that are champions. They've been blowing people away this season, but obviously in the last 2 games, a defeat to Rangers and dropping 2 points against St Mirren, does that give the supporters, the players, the coaching staff a little bit of a boost going into this one?
Yeah, I think so. I think them dropping 5 points in the last 6, that was kind of on offer for them, kind of you'd like to think gives us hope tonight, and a firm belief that we can go out there and put on a performance and hopefully get a result.
Yeah, absolutely. And they will, like we said, have one eye, won't they, on that Scottish Cup final. Will that be playing on their minds, almost wanting to make sure that they stay fit and ready so they don't miss out on potentially being part of a side that could win the treble?
Yeah, of course, and I think it's a tricky situation for them because it's getting the balance between getting players minutes ahead of that game, but also not giving players too many minutes, and kind of running the risk of injury.
Yeah, and for Lee Johnson, obviously, there's a lot on the cards tonight. Like I said, a point would set up or potentially could set up a massive day on the final game of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. It's certainly all to play for, and hopefully the team, the boys, come here with huge kind of belief and confidence with that in mind. And also, can you say Celtic are on a poor run? But yeah, I think couple the two, then I hope they come here with a great belief.
Yeah, and obviously in that St Mirren game, they set up shop a little bit, let Celtic have a lot of possession, but then were super clinical, weren't they, when they had their chances and their chances arose. Is that something you think that Hibs will need to do today?
Absolutely. I think kind of following a similar game plan, kind of nullifying Celtic's threats, but then trying to exploit their weaknesses. And they are a good team, but they certainly do have weaknesses. And I think if we can kind of, as I say, follow the same or a similar game plan, try and hit them on the counter, exploit the spaces that they leave behind in those transitional moments, I think that'll be crucial to getting something from tonight's game.
Yeah, and obviously 2 games left. We'll just pull up that league table again just to show the permutations for everyone. Like Joelle, we said before, it's so tight, isn't it?
It's so tight, and I think that just shows how competitive this season has been. But as I say, I'm a huge believer of just controlling the controllables. Obviously, Lee and the staff will potentially have an eye on ongoings elsewhere, but for the players on the pitch tonight, just control what they can control and put in the performance that they're capable of doing.
Yeah, and that's exactly the message that our assistant manager, Jamie McAllister, gave when I spoke to him just before this one. Macca, how much are you looking forward to Wednesday night's game against Celtic and the final home game at Easter Road this season?
Yeah, it's a great game, one we're really looking forward to. I know they're a good side, I know they're the champions, but I went to watch them on Saturday against St Mirren, and if we play the way we can and get a bit of luck on the day and take our chances, then I think it'll be a great game for the fans.
How much of a boost was that result against St Mirren? Obviously they've lost or dropped a few points this season, which has surprised quite a few people.
Yeah, I mean, St Mirren set their stall and Celtic could have scored 1 or 2 more goals, so you need a bit of luck against Old Firm, like I've said in the past, but you've got to take your chances when they come, which Maine did. Another couple after that to probably go on and make it 3-1, but Celtic have always got that threat with the quality they have on the side, and it's up to us to nullify that, be at our best, have a little bit of luck and take our chances when we get them.
How difficult has it been preparing for this one? Obviously such a short turnaround in time between the Rangers game and playing against Celtic. I imagine that limits the amount of time that you have on the grass with the players.
It does. The key is like recovery, and the boys have been on point with it. Sports science now at the club and the physios now do the best with the boys, and we're ready to go. These are the weeks you want in football. It's been a great week. You got Rangers, Celtic and Hearts. What a way to finish, and also looking forward to next year as well. It's exciting to build on hopefully a strong end to the season. So it's a great game, last home game of the season. We want to give the fans something to cheer about and have a go.
And we're still obviously chasing European places as well. Obviously Wednesday night there's other games going on at the same time. Will you be kind of keeping an eye out on those two?
No, it's up to us to focus on what we need to do. We know what we need from the game. We're ready to go and we're looking forward to the game. So we've got to focus on us, and it's what we do. And like I say, you need that little bit of luck and to take your chances against the Old Firm.
Yeah, and just finally, in terms of team news, will there be anyone back? Is anyone completely missing out?
Yeah, Kevin McGuinness is back on the grass, which is good. So it's nice to see him back after his injuries. And then Big Miko has felt his hamstring a little bit, so he might struggle for the last 2 games. But apart from that, the boys have recovered well and ready to go.
Excellent, Micah. Thanks for speaking to us.
Thank you. Cheers.
Well, we heard from Jamie McAllister just then, Joelle, and he spoke about the players' focus over the last 2 days being purely on recovery, a heavy focus on the medical team and the sports science guys. What's it like as a player when you have games coming as thick and fast as this against real top-level opponents?
It's enjoyable. I personally thrive on it. I think as a player you would prefer to be playing the midweek games opposed to the training. So yeah, I think for me as a player, I enjoy a schedule like the one we're currently on. It just means that you need to take real kind of pride in your recovery, because the recovery period is short. But for me, I'd choose a game over training any day.
Yeah, and we spoke about the team needing to be clinical tonight and the importance of that. Jamie McAllister obviously went to the St Mirren game and saw that one against Celtic. Again though, that's probably the difference that set us apart in the Rangers game, wasn't it, on Sunday, just lacking that almost final cutting edge in front of goal.
Yeah, absolutely. I think up against Old Firm, naturally you don't get as many opportunities as you would elsewhere. So you absolutely, like Jamie said, you need to be clinical when the chances come. You need to take them. And I think on Sunday against Rangers, up until they scored, we were competing very, very well. There was a chance or few chances that we just didn't take, and it's those moments that are absolutely crucial in games like those.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, one man that will be hoping to be clinical this evening is Kevin Nisbet, and we'll hear from him just after this short commercial break.
Shop without online trackers following your every step. Get NordVPN now and avoid online trackers. NordVPN, cybersecurity built for every day.
Hello and welcome back to Hibs TV as we build up to tonight's game against Celtic here at Easter Road. My colleague Gavin Ritu spoke to a man who will be hoping to have a huge impact this evening, Kevin Nisbet.
Kev, 2 games left to go in the season. How big of a week is this for the football club?
Yeah, it's massive. Obviously a disappointing Sunday. We went into the game in really good form and we just didn't turn up, didn't take our chances and conceded poor goals, but it's a quick turnaround to Celtic, so looking forward to it.
How did the lads pick themselves up after a result like that on Sunday?
Well, I think I just said it's a big week, so I think Celtic at home, we don't really need to get yourself picked up. You should be up for it. Then we've got Hearts on Saturday, so it's a massive week for us and it's just about dust ourselves down after Sunday and focusing tomorrow. Yeah,
as you said, Celtic on Wednesday and Hearts on Saturday. Are these the kind of games that really get you going, you look forward to, and that's why you play the game?
Yeah, especially there's a lot of European places to play for as well. We can still go and catch Hearts as well. Obviously we need results to go away, but we need to do the business tomorrow and all focus on tomorrow, then after that on to Saturday.
Yeah, in terms of European football then, how important is it that a club like Hibs is playing European football next season?
Yeah, it's massive. I think if anyone asked us in January if we were in this position now, we'd bite your hand off for it. So yeah, we've recovered really well from a poor recent results in January, and we'll get into the last 2 games with European places to play for. So yeah, we're delighted and hopefully get the job done.
Nice one, Kev. Good luck.
Thank you.
Well, Joelle, we heard from Kevin Nisbet just there. Obviously, the first 6 months of the season would have been really frustrating for him, but since that point, he's come back. He's looked really physically good. He scored 10 goals as well this season. Have you been surprised about how good he's actually physically looked after being out for such a long period of time?
Yes and no. I think no, because the women's team are based down at HTC. We were in and out when he was doing his rehab, and you could see how hard he was working and how desperate he was wanting to get back on the pitch. And you're right, he's came back, he's improved his physicality, and I think that's helped in his goals contribution.
Yeah, absolutely. And imagine if we had a full Kevin Nisbet for a fit Kevin Nisbet, I should say, for a full year. Martin Boyle fit for a full year, and Ella Yuan, who's obviously been one of our standout players this year.
Oh, that would be absolutely devastating for any opposition defence. I think those three players, the qualities and attributes that they bring would certainly complement each other. So yeah, here's hoping that we can see it next season, because I think that triple threat would be unbelievable.
Yeah, it really would. And one big piece of news that came out of the club earlier today is that Darren McGregor will retire at the end of the season. Joelle, obviously, firstly with Daz as a player, he's a Hibs fan, local boy. He was telling me once that he used to sneak in at the back of the gantry just up there through the scaffolding so he could watch the game. Hibs meant everything to him, didn't it?
Yeah, he's Hibs through and through. When you think of Hibs legends, you certainly put Darren McGregor in that bracket because, like you said, been at the club for I think eight seasons, and absolutely would do anything for the club on and off the pitch.
Yeah, and in his role, obviously this year we've seen him in first team match day squads. We've seen him scoring goals in the heart of the defence for the development squad too. But for those young players, playing alongside Daz, I'm sure would have been an invaluable experience. Yeah,
it'll be absolutely massive. Darren's played a huge part in the history of this club, and within his new role he'll play a huge part in the future of this club. So I think everyone speaks about coaching qualifications and badges, but for me the most kind of valuable and an important thing is someone like Darren McGregor who lives and breathes Hibernian FC and the kind of benefits that these young players can get from kind of working alongside and learning from him are huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And just before we go, I just wanted to touch upon the final day of the women's season. Obviously, the Celtic, Rangers and Glasgow City all going for the title took the headlines, so we'll start with that. I mean, it's a great advert, isn't it, for women's football?
A fantastic advert, Adam. I think it was a thrilling end to the season, coming down to kind of 1 point, I think, in the end. The goal difference was equally as close. So yeah, it's fantastic for the women's game. It shows that the league's increasing in competitiveness, and yeah, it was a great spectacle for all involved.
Yeah, and obviously for Hibs women, obviously finishing 5th, Dean Gibson's last game in charge, obviously, and he went out with a win.
He did indeed. He did indeed. There's Mikey Devlin and Jimmy Jago trying to put us off. Yeah, he did indeed. It was fantastic. I was pleased that we managed to get that win, get that performance for Dean, and also for players who might not be at the club next season. It was a really kind of exciting and enjoyable day to be part of.
Excellent. Well, that's all we have time for. Hopefully today is similar to that, Joelle. You can hear from Joelle and Cliff later on. The game is being shown on pay-per-view on Hibs TV. But before we go, we'll have to leave you with this. Darren McGregor, a Hibernian FC legend, Scottish Cup winner and a true Leither. Thank you very much for watching.
Shaw's header cleared off the line and powered home by McGregor. They've turned it on its head. Darren McGregor, the former St Mirren man, tiles on the pane and give Hibs the lead.